Hello, my name is Heather Broadnax, and on April 22nd, 2008, my world was turned upside down with one phone call. I heard my sister-in-law's words, but I couldn't comprehend what she was telling me. I had lost my husband Marquis to suicide at the age of 30. That phone call changed my life forever. Marquis and I met and married very quickly. We instantly knew that we were supposed to be together. Marquis had a personality that would light up a room whenever he walked in. He never knew a stranger. He could make a friend of anyone. When my husband loved, he loved 110%. He was fiercely protective and loyal and could make you laugh at the most irritating times for me, usually when I was mad at him. I could be furious with him, and he could look at me with those eyes and say something ridiculous, and I would just melt. There were very good times with Marquis, but Marquis also had some very dark and lonely times. Marquis had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder at the age of 25. Like most newly diagnosed individuals, he most likely had it for several years, but had not been diagnosed. As I look back over our life together, and our life with his illness, my biggest regret is that I didn't educate myself. I wish I had learned more about bipolar disorder. I think it would have helped me understand what he was going through a little bit more. The beginning of this journey for me is similar to many for you, I'm sure. The feelings of disbelief, anger, that unimaginable pain, the lonely feeling you get when you're in a room full of people, but you still feel so alone because your loved one isn't there. And then, of course, our favorite word, why. The whys consumed me for years. After I began to come out of the fog, and many of you know what I'm talking about, some of us are still in it. The day the fog began to lift was when I decided that I needed to make a choice. I had to make something positive out of this huge mountain of pain that had been set before me. It's been a very slow, long journey on this road after losing my husband. The days of walking into Walmart to buy cereal and sobbing in the middle of the store aisle because I glanced over and saw his favorite cereal are not that far behind me. But I can say this, I do have more good days than bad now, 5 years into this journey. This is partly because I made the decision to help others and honor my husband, his life and death, in a way that has given me a purpose, a reason to want to live again. I believe the key to ending suicide and the stigma of mental illness is to educate and be aware. We have to use education to fight this epidemic. My husband would take his pills and feel great and then stop because he said he just wanted to be normal. He was referring to what society says is normal, and that's not a man who's sick with a mental illness taking a pill every day. This stigma has to end. The way someone who is suffering from a mental illness is treated is absolutely ridiculous and sometimes, and it's by the medical profession as well, not just everyday people. They all need to be educated. An individual with cancer would never be treated the way that we would treat somebody who has a mental health issue. It takes walks like this one today, the group Facebook pages, websites, and each of us taking a stand and saying, that my husband, wife, mother, father, son, daughter, whomever we loved, was just sick, just as someone who had any other illness. I want to say this to those of you who are in the beginning stages of your journey and still struggling. Give yourself permission to grieve. Do not let anyone tell you that you should be over it by now. I remember driving home from my first survivors meeting shortly after I lost Marquis. Just sobbing all the way home, thinking, how did this become my life? What I realized after allowing myself to grieve and go through what I needed to in my own time, in my own way, is that yes, this is my life now. And I'm proud of the life that I have. Is this the journey that I would have chosen? No, probably not. But it's one that I'm determined to make my husband and children proud of, and to make the difference that I know that he would want me to make. Don't be hard on yourself. Allow yourself time to heal in your own time. You have a tremendous amount of support around you. I hope that one day, this journey that we're on, the on-ramp to it will be closed. That the suicide death rate will be 0. That no other family will have to walk this journey with us. Each of you today are taking a small step to make that a reality, and you should be very proud of yourselves. I want to leave you with a scripture verse that I would always go back to, especially during the first few years. It's Matthew 5:4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Allow yourself to be comforted. You deserve it. Thank you for your time, and may God bless all of you.
That was really good. We thank you, Heather, for sharing your story. Wanted to tell you that